Okay, all right. Welcome to video 10.2. Okay, your respiratory system shouldn't be read as respiration system, respiratory system. This is one of my most favorite parts of the chapter because it's one of the simplest. Okay, it's like understanding the digestive system like that. So, and the parts and description of each part is much lesser. So, yeah, okay. Let's just clear two things out of the way. Okay, then we'll just go straight into understanding your respiratory system. Okay, now first things first, okay, on your notes, it's the same question as during transport in men, right? When I ask you on why we need a transport system, right? So in this case, correct? Okay, same thing, right? Humans are large multicellular organisms, right? So we have a small surface area to volume ratio. Okay, so fill up on your notes, page 8, please. Okay, so diffusion alone is too slow for rapid gaseous exchange, okay, between the organisms and the external environment, especially the cells inside of you. So we need a respiratory system. Okay, simple. Okay, the second thing to clear out the way is this. Okay, I know that some of you in primary school, okay, your teachers might have told you that breathing and respiration are the same thing. Okay, they are not the same. Not the same. Okay, drew that out of your head. Okay, so now in upper sec bio, you must be very clear. Okay, and distinct between the terms. Breathing, okay, as you can see, is a physical act. You breathe, I breathe, everyone breathe, okay? It is the process where air moves in and out of your lungs. So that is breathing, okay? While for respiration, okay, it's a chemical process that happens inside your cells, inside all of our cells, right? And it's the release of energy by the oxidation of food molecules inside the cell. So one is a chemical process in a cell, one is a physical act that involves of air going in and out of your lungs. So respiration is not breathing, okay? Never ever classify them to be the same thing. If your primary school teacher didn't say this, then good. Okay, I'm just worried because some of your seniors got say that before. Okay, so then how does the two concepts link? Okay, is that breathing, okay, that you see here, and respiration, correct? You need breathing because it's through breathing then oxygen is obtained for your aerobic respiration to sustain your life processes. Okay, Ken? So this point is just to highlight to you to make sure that you don't mix up between the two terms. Okay, now that we have this out of the way, let's head straight down to page 9. So now I'm at the bottom of your notes, the respiratory system. You see a human, whole diagram that is right there, that's facing you. So let's slowly label them one by one first. Okay, so the first one, as you can see on the screen, your first arrow, that's your nasal cavity. Can you see your nasal cavity? Actually, you can. Okay, you just go and look at the mirror. Actually, you can already see it here. Okay, cavity means hole, nasal means nose, so the hole in your nose. Okay, nasal cavity. Okay, so label the first things first. Now, I'm going to label you the next two, okay, your pharynx and your larynx. Pharynx, I'm sure you know what it is already, right? You've heard of it in the digestive system. In case you forgot, it's the space behind your mouth. So it's actually that common space here, okay, that both your nose as well as your mouth actually shares, right? So, okay, so pharynx, as you can see, right, okay, it's the space there. Then we move on to the larynx. For the boys, yours is very pronounced, so your larynx is your voice box. For the girls, it's not as pronounced, but it's fine. Where's your larynx? You can use your hand. Okay, you feel for the bump. See on Mr. Cho's larynx is here. Can you see? Okay, there's a bumpy bump here. Okay, so that's your larynx. Got it? Okay, pharynx and larynx. Don't mix up the two also. Larynx is your voice box. Pharynx is the space, okay, that's behind your mouth. Right? Okay, then we move down to the next one. Okay, the next one is called trachea. Say trachea. Trachea. Now, the line, I don't really like it because it didn't point to, it's actually referring to this whole entire pink line there, trachea. Okay, make sure you spell it right. Okay, Trachea. Okay, we are more than halfway through already, don't worry. Okay, next. Now, you see that at the end of the trachea, it splits into two. Can you see it not? Here, over here on your notes. Your line, right, in the notes there's a black line. Can you actually, like, you can see my red lines here, draw and point to the two branches instead? Okay, let me move my avatar down. Okay, over here, can you see over here the two lines? Yep, draw, okay, and point to the two lines. Okay, so if you're talking about the both of them, okay, we refer them to them as bronchi. Okay, but if you're only talking about one of them, we call it as bronchus. So funny, right? Because I usually is like one person, but in biological terms, in this bronchi refers to 2. Okay, bronchus refers to 1. So remember, it's a little, it's a switch in this case. Okay. Now, if you go even further, you can follow Mr. Cho's mouse. You can see that there are like further divisions like over there. We call that bronchioles. Okay, not bronchioles or bronchioles. Bronchioles. Okay, bronchioles. Okay, we're almost to the end already. Okay, nasal cavity, pharynx. Okay, down to the larynx. Okay, down your trachea, it goes into one bronchus or go into the bronchi. If you're talking about both, then after that, right, we'll go into further smaller air passages called bronchioles, and finally end at a cluster of air sacs called alveoli. Okay, so if alveoli refers to many, then if we refer to one, it's called, the clue is there, bronchi, bronchus. So alveoli will be, alveolus. Okay, got it? Okay, the final one I just want to highlight is the right lung. Okay, so remember the left is right, right is left principle. Same for all diagrams. Okay, so in this case, that's the right lung, then that will be the left lung, right? So shall we just fill up the entire route at the bottom of the page? Okay, so the respiratory system, how it goes, how a molecule of oxygen enters, that might be an O-level question, right? So nasal cavity, your pharynx, you can do it with Cher and say it out if you want. If it helps, you are behind the screen so no one can see. Okay, or if like you want to write, okay, that's fine as well. Do something, don't just passively listen to me, okay? It won't work, okay? Nasal cavity, pharynx, okay? Larynx here, trachea, okay? Then it goes into one bronchi, right? Further goes into a bronchiole before it ends up at a cluster of air sacs called alveoli. Okay? So I'm now at the start of page 10. Then, got a way to remember? No, of course lah. You Mr. Cho student, I make sure that there's a way to remember one. Okay, come. So the acronym. So on the top of page 10, I've left it the blanks there again for you. Okay, before you fill it up again, on your own later. Okay, the acronym that Cher use is no. Please let the beatboxer ask. Okay, so no. Please let the beatboxer ask. So nasal, so yeah, you can write it in with me. So no, okay, remember this acronym, no, so nasal cavity. Please will be pharynx, okay, pharynx. Let is larynx. T is trachea. Okay, then now, why do I say there's the B and the BO? So like I let bronchi be the first B. Bronchioles down there got more O's inside the spelling, so beatboxer. So that will be the one that comes after. So bronchi, bronchioles. Okay, and finally end up with alveoli. Okay, so no, please let the beatboxer ask. Okay, I hope that acronym can help you all to remember. Okay. Okay, so now the last two things in this video, a short description of each part, but the most important thing here is the adaptations of the alveoli. That's the one that you will need to know. Okay, shall we go? Okay, now, first one, okay, nasal cavity. Okay, ignore this fringe. I'm sorry, this one there's a bit of an error there. The nasal cavity has a fringe of hair. I'm sure that everyone here would have dug your nose before and you know that inside your nose have hair. Okay, if you have not, before, which it will be very strange, okay, you can go to the toilet on your own. You can go and try and have a look at the mirror. Okay, so there's a fringe of hair, okay, and the mucus layer there to trap dust and foreign particles. That's why when you dig your nose, why got that green stuff? It's all the dust and foreign particles lah. So the hair there is to stop the dust and foreign particles from entering your lungs. Okay, Cher loves this so much more because it's just like that only. Okay, not like digestive system. Every part must stop until a lot of things. This one just that's it. Okay. Okay, so after nasal cavity, we'll go to the pharynx and larynx. We call it the nasal passages. The main thing there is just that it warms and moistens the atmospheric air as it passes through your nasal passages. Okay, because it's already inside your body system. So as it enters, it warms and moistens the air. Okay? Can? Okay, then we go on to the next one, okay, which is the trachea. Now, this part, like, Sunny, why got so much info there, like, very scary. Wait, relax. Okay, now, we write this in first. C-shaped rings of cartilage. So you are learning a new word today, cartilage. What's this new thingy, okay? Supports the trachea. So cartilage is actually tissue, okay, that it's not as hard as bone, but it is there to actually to support structures. So there's actually C-shaped rings. That means there's this cartilage. If you actually see from the top, it's a shape of a C. Okay, of cartilage to support the trachea. So actually the cartilage, right, helps to keep the lumen of the trachea open. If you see your trachea, actually it's just a loose meat tube, something like that. So you have the cartilage there to support the structure. Okay, now actually I wanted to save this goodie for later. Okay, but I think now is a good time to show it to you all. Okay, wait Okay, so this is actually human.biodigital.com. If you're actually free, I would really okay, not free. I would really recommend you to sign up for an account. It's free. Okay, you can actually explore all the 3D systems here. Okay, so okay, I wanted to show you is this. So okay, quite cool. I'm gonna switch it to rotate mode first. So actually you get to see okay, you get to see the respiratory system from the side and from the front, right? So that's your nasal cavity. Okay, I'll try zooming in. Okay, while maintaining this thing. Okay, your okay, then you can get to see your pharynx. Okay, over here, this is your pharynx, right? Oral pharynx. Okay, your larynx is over here. Okay, no, okay, the epiglottis is actually covering, like right below there is the larynx. Okay, then now this is the one that I wanted to show you. Okay, so you see your trachea here, right? There's your C-shaped cartilage there. So I'm going to remove the C-shaped cartilage for you. See, if I remove it, okay, it's actually just a tube of muscle over there which can't sustain without the cartilage. So the cartilage actually helps to keep the trachea lumen open, okay, and hold it in its place. Okay, so this is width. Okay, if you actually see inside, it's actually just a ring of muscle. Wait, okay, not ring of muscle, sorry, a tube of muscle. Okay, if I'm gonna zoom it out and actually show you, can also see here, okay, that yeah, the cartilage goes all the way down into the bronchus. Okay, can okay, now I'm going to come back to the slide. So we are right here. Okay, so okay, the main point is okay that the trachea, there's C-shaped rings over there, okay, to make sure that it keeps the lumen open. Okay, so if we go on to say, okay, over there is that now if we were to look at the trachea itself, you can find two types of cells, okay, in the inner wall of the trachea. So there's your epithelial cells, okay, as well as your gland cells. Okay, write it down on your notes first. Okay, okay, epithelial cells and gland cells. Got the name ready? Okay, now let's speak simply. Now, if you were to take a closer look at the diagram, okay, on your notes, page 10, the gland cells, okay, so only two types of cells lah. Okay, the gland cells over here, can see what I got to mirror this thing. Okay, the gland cells, this one. Okay, it basically secretes mucus that traps the dust and bacteria from the atmospheric air. So like your nasal cavity already filter one round, right? Then your gland cells will be the second line, okay, whereby it traps the dust and bacteria from the atmospheric air. Okay, so your epithelial cells, as you see over there, okay, over here, right, okay, it actually contains fine hairs called cilia. So on these epithelial cells, okay, there's actually fine hairs. This hair is called cilia. It sweeps the bacteria and particles up, okay, the trachea and bronchi to the pharynx. Okay, so gland cell, epithelial cell can be found inside your trachea. Got it? Okay. Okay. Once you got there already, okay, we shall now watch an animation, okay, on how this thing works.
The air that enters the nose needs to be warmed, moistened, and filtered before it gets to the lungs. This is because air contains suspended matter such as pollen, bacteria, dust, fungal spores, and viruses. The cells lining the respiratory tract play an important role in filtering the air and cleaning the nasal passages. They are of two types, ciliated epithelial cells and goblet cells, which secrete mucus.
Okay, hope the animation is much brings the idea of what I'm trying to convey to you to be much more clearer. Okay, now your bronchus and bronchioli is actually very simple. Okay, so as you can see from the notes, the lungs lie within the thoracic cavity. So cavity means hole. Okay, so you can see here in our upper body, this is called the thorax. Okay, your upper body here. Okay, your lungs are found inside. Okay, the whole inside this area, the thoracic cavity. Okay, so trachea will divide into bronchus. Bronchus will branch out further into bronchioli, right? We shall end in a cluster of alveoli. Okay, these little air sacs called alveoli. Okay, now we've come to the most important part of this video, the alveoli, or we call alveolus lah. Okay, so each bronchioli ends in a cluster of alveoli, and please highlight this, alveoli are the sites of gas exchange. So it is over there that your oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanging. Okay, so people ask you what alveoli. Alveoli are sites of gas exchange. Okay, so we further emphasize one more time. See trachea, right? See the ring of cartilage there? Goes into the bronchi, right? It goes into the bronchioli. If you follow it to the end, zoom in and show you, can see not? These are there's a cluster of air sacs. So one air sac, two air sac, many air sacs. And you zoom in some more, okay, you take a look at the zoomed in version of an alveoli. So the most important thing here that you must know is basically how is the alveoli actually adapted, for gas exchange. So there are four. Okay, four short, sharp, sweet, simple, adaptations, depending on how you answer the question. Okay, so number one, there's numerous alveoli in the lungs, right? So if there's going to be a lot of alveoli, it will increase the surface area that's available for gas exchange. Got it? Okay, number two, the alveoli is well supplied with blood capillaries. So if Che points you back to 2 slides ago, you can see, like over here, right? You can see that, wow, look at all the blood capillaries that are surrounding the alveoli, right? There's a lot. So what's up with that? Okay, so the main thing is that it maintains the diffusion gradient. Okay, like, wow, Che, what's this chim term? If there's going to be blood capillaries, right, there's going to be blood inside. So it's going to carry away the oxygen, really, really quickly. So it keeps a very low concentration of oxygen in the blood capillaries. You get what I mean? So I explain one time, I see like follow my mouse, okay? And first come here, right? There's a high amount of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide will diffuse in, right? So here got a lot of oxygen. Here will dissolve, then diffuse into the red blood cell, right? The red blood cells, okay, then the red blood cells will carry the oxygen away. So if it keeps carrying it away, here the amount of oxygen there is low. So diffusion can keep happening. You get what I mean? So maintain a diffusion gradient. So one place high, one place low, allows oxygen and carbon dioxide to diffuse into and out. Okay, can you all key into the notes there? I'm sorry, it's missing over here. Oxygen will diffuse in, carbon dioxide will diffuse out, okay, of the blood capillaries. Okay? Okay, lots of blood capillaries maintains a diffusion gradient. Now, point 3. There's a thin film of moisture on the alveolar surface. Okay, can see over here, this light yellow is in this case here, thin film, okay, of water or moisture in this case. Then where have we came across this before? Can you remember? Yep, okay, your palisade mesophyll cells, your spongy mesophyll cells. Okay, the moment you see thin film of moisture, it means it allows for gas to dissolve. Okay, so this one must be clear. Okay, because there's a thin film of moisture there, you can see it allows oxygen to dissolve, write it down, okay, before diffusing into the capillary. So you must spell it out clear. The oxygen will dissolve in the thin film of moisture first and then diffuse into the bloodstream. Dissolve, then diffuse. Okay? Okay, finally, the alveolar and capillary walls are 1 cell thick. Be careful of how you phrase this. You cannot say the alveolar cell wall thick. There's no cell wall in animal cells. The alveolar and capillary walls, that means the wall of the alveoli, okay, or the capillary are 1 cell thick. So what if it's 1 cell thick? That means it's going to reduce the distance for diffusion to take place. So diffusion can take place faster. More gas can exchange at a faster rate. Okay, lots of alveoli, right? Then lots of blood capillaries there. Okay, maintain a steep concentration gradient. There's a thin film of moisture, allow gases to dissolve before diffusing, and the alveolar and capillary wall are 1 cell thick. Okay, so a faster rate of gaseous exchange. Okay, so with that, I'll let you watch one summary video first, okay, before you attempt your quick check 2. After you watch the summary video already, try our quick check tool first before playing the video again to check the answers. Okay, please go and try first. Okay.
Respiratory system. To understand the process of breathing. In humans, the main organs responsible for respiration are present in the thoracic cavity. In the thorax region, the rib cage and a dome-shaped fibrous tissue, known as the diaphragm, are observed. Present within the rib cage are the pleural membranes, which enclose the lungs. The right lung is divided into 3 lobes: the right superior, right middle, and the right inferior lobe. The left lung is smaller and has only 2 lobes, the left superior and the left inferior lobe. Both the lungs are associated externally with small tubular bronchi, which unite and extend into the trachea. The trachea has incomplete C-shaped rings of cartilage, which prevent the tracheal wall from collapsing. The trachea leads into the pharynx, which is connected to the nostrils. As we breathe in air, the oxygen molecules enter the nostrils and travel downwards through the pharynx and trachea to finally reach the bronchi. From each bronchus, oxygen travels into the lungs. Within the lungs, the bronchus divides repeatedly to form bronchioles. Oxygen travels through these bronchioles and reaches the alveoli, each of which is surrounded by a network of capillaries. A section of one alveolus shows the presence of numerous alveolar chambers with pores. Blood, containing RBCs, is seen flowing through the capillaries. The oxygen molecules from the alveolus diffuse into the capillary and then get absorbed by the bluish-purple RBCs. This causes oxygenation of the RBCs, and a transition in their color from bluish-purple to red is observed. The blood moving into the alveolus contains RBCs and carbon dioxide molecules. These molecules are released into the alveolus. The carbon dioxide collects in the alveolar chamber. And then from the alveolus, it travels through the bronchioles into the bronchus, which finally reaches the trachea, and is breathed out through the nostrils. So the process of breathing in air rich in oxygen is called inhalation. After the contraction of the muscular diaphragm, the lungs expand, and the air rushes in, resulting in the inflation of the alveoli. During exhalation, the diaphragm moves up and the lungs contract. Thus, the alveoli deflate, causing the air to be forced out. This exhaled air is rich in carbon dioxide. This process of inhalation and exhalation is known as respiration, which is approximately 20 times per minute. Summary. In the thorax region, the rib cage and the diaphragm are observed, which play a vital role in respiration. Present within the rib cage are the pleural membranes, which enclose the lungs. The right lung consists of 3 lobes, while the left lung has only 2 lobes. Both the lungs are associated externally with bronchi, which unite and extend into the trachea. As we breathe, the oxygen molecules enter the nostrils and travel downwards, through the pharynx and trachea, to finally reach the bronchi. From each bronchus, oxygen travels into the lungs. Within the lungs, The bronchus divides repeatedly to form bronchioles. Oxygen travels through these bronchioles and reaches the alveoli, each of which is surrounded by a network of capillaries. As blood flows through the capillaries, the oxygen molecules from the alveolus diffuse into the capillary. This causes oxygenation of the RBCs. The carbon dioxide molecules are released into the alveolus. They are collected in the alveolar chamber, and then from the alveolus, it travels through the bronchioles. Into the bronchus, which finally reaches the trachea and is breathed out through the nostrils.
Okay, welcome back. Okay, now quick check 10.2. Are we ready? Okay, so first, the question asks you all to identify, right, the trachea. So you already know trachea is this long tube here. No, please let the beatboxer ask, right? Trachea is this long tube trachea. A ring of cartilage, any of these like dark pink ones, okay, a ring of cartilage. Bronchioli, okay, bronchioli must be this one. Not here, you cannot identify this. I must be these small little tubes that are branching out, and some alveoli. So circle a few, not just one white cloud, not cloud, one cluster. Some alveoli, so circle all. Okay. Okay, part B. They ask you explain how the structure of the alveoli. Now, for those of you who happily just copy, okay, this is where you must keep your eyes open. Because combined syllabus, you must be very careful of your answering technique. Okay, they love to play with you in terms of the answers, right? So don't write the first one because it's asking you how the structure of one alveoli. They never say you need a lot of alveoli in the lung, so you say the other three, right? So number one, supplied well with blood capillaries, can maintain a diffusion gradient and allows oxygen and carbon dioxide to diffuse into and out of the blood capillaries. Okay, then number three, thin film of moisture on alveolar surface allows oxygen to dissolve first before diffusing. That's your second mark. And then your third mark, the alveolar and capillary walls are one cell thick, so it will reduce the distance needed for gas exchange to take place. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's how you score your 3 points. Okay, now last but definitely not least, right? They show you some of the cells of the lining of a human trachea. Right, A is your gland cell. Okay, you can see all the mucus inside there. B is your epithelial cell with the cilia on the top, okay, of the cell. Right, so cell A will secrete mucus. Correct. What's the function of the cilia? It sweeps dust particles and bacteria up the bronchi and trachea into the pharynx. Okay, that's what the cilia is for. So part 3 is a little bit of a trick, right? Explain what will happen if the cilia becomes paralyzed. Then your mucus will get trapped because it's not sweeping up. So how a possible bacterial infection can result in your trachea. Okay, so with that, that ends and concludes our section on 10.2. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this part as much as I did. The main thing is number one, you must know how to identify your respiratory system, know how to label and identify. Number two, a short description on what happens at each part. And number three, okay, what are the adaptations of the alveoli? That one star you have to know. Okay, so with that, if all's good, okay, I'll see you in the next video. If not, feel free to turn back to replay on some parts that you don't understand. Still don't understand? Ask me. Okay, see you all next video.